What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tom here with Tom Ria Sports, and today we're just going over our Week 3 spread picks. So, started off, we're getting right to it. Dolphins beat the Jaguars. Jaguars were 3-point favorites. We picked them 0-1. Rough start to the week, but we're on to the next one. Niners in MetLife taking on the Giants. Niners are 3.5-point favorites, and we're going to pick the Giants to cover here. Niners are so banged up. I think Giants have played a little bit better than most people think, and I think they're due for a win, so we're going to take them to cover and win the game. Bears-Falcons. Falcons 3-point favorites at home. Another team talk about due for a win. We're taking the Falcons here. Their offense is still elite. Defense is not great, but I think they do enough and they win the game. Rams-Bills in Buffalo. Bills are 2-point favorites. This is kind of a tough one, but we're going to take Buffalo. Their defense is elite. Being at home, I know no fans, but still, I think it helps out a little bit. And Josh Allen's looked tremendous, so picking Buffalo here. Washington football team against the Browns. Browns are 7-point favorites. That's just a little too steep for me. I'm going to take Washington to cover here. I still think Browns win the game, but 7 points is a lot in my opinion. Titans-Vikings. Titans are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Vikings have burned me the last 2 weeks. Don't really know what to think of them, so I'm going to pick the Titans here to cover the 2.5-point spread. Raiders-Patriots. Patriots are 6-point favorites. Again, I kind of just think that's a little bit too high. Raiders have looked pretty good. So I think Patriots win the game, but Raiders cover the spread, so we're taking the Raiders here. Bengals-Eagles in Philly. This is a tough one. I don't really know how to put a finger on it, but I'm going to take Philly. I think Philly is a superior team still. They haven't looked great, both 0-2, but 5 is right on edge. I think they're going to win the game by a touchdown or so, so we're going to take the Eagles. Texans-Steelers in Pittsburgh. Steelers 4-point favorites. I'm going with the Steelers all the way. I'm a big believer in that team. Again, I said last week, their offense is good, their defense is good, their coaching's tremendous, their special teams is good. They really have what it takes, in my opinion. So they're only going to get better as time goes on. So we're taking Pittsburgh to cover here. Jets-Colts. Colts 11.5-point favorites. I mean, man, this seems like such a trap game. Such a trap game. I would expect the Colts to win and win pretty handily, but 11.5 it's really difficult. I got to think about this one more because I have it written down here. I have the Jets, so we're gonna go with what I wrote. I'm gonna take the Jets to lose, but I think they lose by 10 or less. And yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not too confident about that one. Panthers-Chargers. Chargers 6.5-point favorites at home. Again, another difficult one. Herbert's starting, but the Panthers don't look good, and McCaffrey's out. So I'm going to take the Chargers to cover that. See how that goes. Buccaneers-Broncos. Buccaneers 5.5-point favorites in Denver. Brady's been very up and down in Denver in his career. I'm going to take the Bucs here, though. I mean, Driscoll starting for the Broncos obviously means no Drew Lock. Buccaneers defense, I think, is very good, and their offense is only going to get better as time goes on. So we're taking the Bucs to cover 5.5. Lions-Cardinals. These two teams played last year, week 1, and ended in a tie, so that helped nobody. But Cardinals 5.5-point favorites at home. They're rolling. I told you before week 1, I was a believer in them, and I'm going to pick them to cover again here, 5.5 points. So yeah, Cardinals. Cowboys-Seahawks. Seahawks 5-point favorites at home against Dallas. This is a tough one. I could see Dallas really playing well, but I think Seattle is going to ultimately just pick apart that defense and cover the spread. The night game, Packers-Saints. Saints 3-point favorites at home. To me, this is an easy one. You got to go Packers here. Of course, anything can happen, but Packers just look incredible, look like one of the best teams in football. So I'm going to take them until they prove otherwise. And then Chiefs-Ravens, maybe the best game of the season, probably the best game of the season thus far. Baltimore 3.5-point favorites at home, and I actually think they're going to cover that. It'll be a good game. I think Baltimore's a little more well-rounded right now than the Chiefs are, and I'm just going to take Baltimore and see what happens. But that's our picks for this week. I know I went through it kind of fast. It's a super, super busy weekend for me, so I'm going to try to leave it in the description who I picked, and then obviously you guys can just take a look, comment on it, and then we'll be back on Tuesday to just recap the picks. All right, guys. Have a good one.